I'd like to call the Gurnee Village Board to order this regular meeting of September 12th, 2016. Roll call, please, Andy.
Thorstensen.
Yes, here.
Balmus.
Present.
Hood. Here. Wilson. Ross.
Here.
Garner. Here. 5 present, 1 absent.
All right. Trustee Wilson did let us know he'd be absent tonight. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Good evening. It's so nice to have company tonight. First up is public comment. If you'd like to address the board, you can come to the microphone and state your name.
That's you.
That's
Public comment.
that's you guys.
That's you
If-
guys. Go to the mic.
Microphone.
All right. State your name for the record.
Okay, I'm Skylar, and I'm Clara.
Okay. You can address the board.
Wait, do I start? Okay. Hi, my name is Skylar Harris. I live in Gurnee. I am here because I think trick-or-treating should be on a Saturday instead of a Sunday. Here are some reasons why it should be on a Saturday. A lot of people go to church on Sundays. It is hard for those people to go to church and come right home and get ready for trick-or-treating. That's the first reason why trick-or-treating should be on a Saturday instead of a Sunday. The second reason is the Bears play on Sundays and the adults do not like missing the games. They can just check the score on their phones, but the problem with that is they're probably losing. So they'll be mad. That is the second reason why trick-or-treating should be on a Saturday instead of a Sunday. Now I have a friend who would like to say something. Hi, I'm Clara. I live in Gurnee. I would like to say something that goes along with trick-or-treating should be on a Saturday instead of Sunday. A lot of times you would trick-or-treat with a friend. The problem with that is after trick-or-treating, you cannot hang out with them because school is the next day. When you are a kid, it is not fun trick-or-treating knowing the whole time that you have school tomorrow, so you cannot hang out with your friends or have sleepovers with them. But if trick-or-treating was on a Saturday, that would not be a problem. Last year, trick-or-treating was on a Saturday because Halloween was actually on a Saturday. It was way more fun because you didn't have to go to school the next day. This year it could be it could be on a Saturday, it would be easy on the parents too, because they would not want to have to put a kid to bed all crazy and wild and get them ready for school tomorrow. That is all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Now back to Skylar. Hi again. What she said was our third reason why trick-or-treating should be on a Saturday instead of a Sunday. Here is the fourth reason. You may not know, but all the new episodes on Disney Channel come out on Sunday, and some kids do not like missing the episode. It is just like most of you probably have a favorite TV show and you do not like missing an episode. That is the fourth reason why trick-or-treating should be on a Saturday. The last reason is, if you are an adult, you probably know how hard it is to get your kid to go to sleep right after eating a whole bunch of candy. So having school the next morning after trick-or-treating is a little hard for the kids and the adults. Thank you for listening to why trick-or-treating should be on a Saturday. I am also not the only person who thinks this. Here's my petition to prove it.
Wow, you can bring the petition up here. How many signatures did you collect? A lot. Wow.
Big number.
All right. Well, girls, you did a phenomenal job. You actually brought up some very good points that I'd never thought of. You have a soulmate down here with Trustee Balmas.
I know.
She's never been a fan of trick-or-treating on Sunday. And I'd never thought about the whole candy thing before. You're right. That's probably very difficult to get people to bed. And I know exactly what you mean about missing favorite TV shows, because mine starts tonight, Dancing with the Stars, and I'm missing it. So you did an excellent job. That's very, very well written and very well spoken at the microphone.
And I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
How old do you have to be to become mayor or president?
I think President of the United States, you have to be 36. I think, if I remember my 35, if I remember my civics. Mayor, I don't believe we have a minimum, we have an age requirement other than 18. You have to be registered to vote, so 18. So you're only a few years away. I'll hold the seat for you.
Watch out, Mayor. Here they come.
There are a lot of signatures here, and we will enter them into the record. And we're actually going to be discussing trick-or-treat hours tonight, so we'll see how persuasive you are with our police chief. All right. Thank you, girls. Good job. Excellent.
Public speaking in grammar school. That's really great. Hello, Council. My name is Clyde McLemore. I'm the chair for the Lake County Black Lives Matter movement. I know when you hear Black Lives Matter, you think that we're some radical group, but if you go to a breast cancer awareness, you don't come in and say prostate cancer. We know all cancer kills, just like we know all lives matter. But Black Lives Matter is right now a national event that's going on right now, and what we've been doing is we've been going to city in Lake County doing the forum. Our forums are very diverse. It is really great. You get some great information, and we're coming to Gurnee Thursday, which will be Black Lives Matter present a community discussion on how to improve blue, black, and brown relationships. Thursday, September the 15th, from 6 to 7:30 at Warren Public Library. And I want to invite y'all to come out. And you don't have to sit on no panel. Just come in, eat a sandwich, and listen. I'd like to give y'all the flyer.
Okay. I appreciate that very much. Trustee Garner also has been very active in our community, and he's going to be leading us in doing some outreach in our community. We're calling it a listening tour. So Trustee Garner's been helping and knows it's important to our residents. So we'll be doing some announcements ourselves here pretty fast. Thank you, Clyde.
Oh my, I can handle that.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Very good. All right.
My name is Len Petrovic. I live on 3712 Grove on the east side. I've got a couple of questions on zoning and codes. I'd like to know the legal status on 1424 Magnolia. There's a garage in a residential area. I talked to Dave about that in March, and he's still doing business. And he has no, I just found out from Dave, he has no license, can't get a business license in a residential area, and yet there's trucks, cars, boats. How come that's still going on?
We will look it up, but sometimes every resident is entitled to due process, so it may be something that's going through, yes. So when people get a ticket, they have a court date. Sometimes it's continued.
Due process from?
Due process, yes.
From March, when I first talked to Dave?
If they engage an attorney, it could take some time. But we do follow a legal process, which is not quick.
So if, hypothetically, if somebody next door to you opened a business, there's nothing you could do to stop it till it gets into court.
You want to weigh in
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean,
whole
You can open a
process?
business without a
If-
license?
If it's an immediate life safety, we can ask for injunctive relief. We can be more prompt in it. We have to make an assessment as to whether it's a life safety issue or it could be a different type of violation, and it just takes its due course. I think the one that you're referencing, I think I am aware of that, and I think it does have a hearing date. And just so that you know, there is a process, and we do place complaints through that process procedure.
If we want it to stick and we want to win, we have to follow the process.
Plus, ultimately, we're looking that it be abated, and so sometimes that can take some time to occur. And
So this is not unusual to go half a year or so?
I've seen them take 18 to 24 months.
I mean, the typical law case takes 2 years in Lake County. That is the typical time period for a law division case. This isn't, and I'm not saying this is a law division case, but so the process is one, because you want to just do it once. You want to make sure it's a comprehensive hearing. And again, from the village's standpoint, if we believe someone's in violation, we want to give them an opportunity to abate the situation themselves so that we don't have to resort to a legal process. That's time and money.
Dave said he was cited, and he ignores the citations.
Then,
So
and it will
how
progress.
much-
It
How much
progress.
leeway do you give them?
It progresses into court. There's a process, and it'd probably be easiest if you wanted to come in and meet with Brian or meet with Pat or meet with David, and they can bring out the ordinance. We have a code enforcement ordinance, how many times we cite them, how long they're given, when do we take it into court. Once we get into court, we're subject to the court schedule.
Okay. I have another question. Parking overnight. You can't park overnight from 1 to 5?
2 to 6.
2 to 6. 2 to 6 on
2
on
to
most
6.
streets,
He says
yes.
1 to 5 or 2 to 5. So what is it?
It's 2 to 6, right?
You say one thing, he says another. Last time I was here, he told me 1 to 5.
It's 2 to 6.
2 to 6.
Okay. Can you park in a ditch on the side of the road overnight?
Parking in the right of way now.
You can't do that?
No.
Well, there was a car on the corner of,
Your best option with those situations is call the police department non-emergency number and report it to the police department. The code enforcement doesn't work between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m.
So our
Okay.
officers do, at their discretion, write tickets for overnight parking when they feel it's necessary. But if you see it and it's between
I could
2
call
and
them?
6 in the morning, call non-emergency.
Okay.
Press number 4 for the commander on duty,
Okay.
and leave a message with the address and the phone number,
going
or
into
the
my
address
neighborhood.
and the situation.
Going into my neighborhood, there's signs, no trucks. What does that mean? What does that mean? Because
It may
on,
be it may be a weight limit.
on Grandmore, this afternoon, there's a pickup truck and a car with no license plates parked on the city street. I called the police department about that, but along with that, there's a dump truck sitting there. Now, there's a sign that says no trucks. So what does the no trucks mean?
It's based on gross vehicle weight.
Can you park a dump truck in a city street?
It depends on the gross vehicle weight.
And if they have business on the street. Even streets that are marked no trucks, if you're getting a delivery, the truck is allowed to make the delivery.
A car has to have license plates or application for plates?
I don't.
The two vehicles had no plates, and this is not the first time, and that belongs to a business down the street on Belle Plaine, right off of Grand Avenue. Their parking lot is too small to hold their cars, and they park, you were saying it's a city street, they can park there, but now they can park there with no license plates.
They need license plates. They need license plates, so if there are cars parked there,
Well,
with no
there's
license
two of
plates-
them, and now, do the police, when the police see cars parked overnight, do they ticket them?
They have discretion on whether they ticket or not.
Okay, and they just redid Magnolia and Belle Plaine. On Magnolia, by my side, when they landscaped, I had.
We have an issue with the landscaping.
When are they going to do that? Any idea?
We're addressing it. We have.
2 weeks.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And the last thing is the railroad bridge on 41 in Grand.
Yes.
What's the status of it? It was supposed to be in April, then August.
The state
Now,
is, the state,
what year?
just like we predicted, I did at least, the state is not going to bid it till winter now.
It's been,
So everybody did their utility work in anticipation of the
Okay.
state going out to bid, and the state never went out to bid. So everybody's finished their utility work. So if the state bids it in the winter or the spring, they will
In the
commence
spring
their work.
now. What,
It's-
Winter
there
or
is- there
spring?
is no
There's
set
no
date.
set date yet.
it's a 24
so
million.
you don't know what year?
It's the state
I hope I live
project.
long enough.
It's a state project. We have no say over it. All we can do is keep track of it. They've notified us. They're going to do the work. They're going to do the project. So we've done our utility work. The gas company's done their utility work. Every utility went out and moved their utilities. That was the construction this summer.
no.
We moved water mains. We replaced water mains. We thought it was going to start this summer. We were all ready for it. And obviously, you know what problems are going on with the state. So they have postponed the bidding.
Okay, when you send out the keeping posted, which I like,
Thank you.
could you maybe put an article in there about the status? Because the people in my neighborhood, when we get together, what's going on with the bridge? When is it going to be built?
Our county commissioner just did an update, but I don't know who all that went to. Are we still putting out our weekly construction status? No? Maybe we should do one last one? The newsletter won't come out again until the beginning of December.
I know, and it is informative, but,
Yeah.
I would think that would be a
So
point.
we have a weekly newsletter, and we can do one last construction update and let everybody know
It's been delayed.
that we
definitely.
Okay,
that we were hopeful, but hopes got dashed.
all right, thank you.
All right. It's a nice touch, clapping after public comment. All right. Anyone else tonight? You'll have another opportunity at the end of the meeting. So we will move on to our regular part of the agenda. The first item is approval of the consent agenda as
So moved.
presented. Motion by trustee Balmas, second by trustee Garner. Roll call, please, Andy.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Thomas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
5 aye.
All right, motion carries. Patrick, please read the consent agenda into the record.
Item number 1, approval of the minutes from the August 22nd, 2016 and August 23rd, 2016 village board meetings. Item number 2, approval of communication operator Courtney Bajoring's request to participate in the village's tuition assistance program in pursuit of a master's degree in criminal justice from Columbia College. Item number 3, approval of authorizing fire chief to issue a fireworks permit for Warren Township High School homecoming on September 30th, 2016 at Warren Township High School, Oak Plain campus. Item number 4, approval of payroll for period ending August 20th, 2016 in the amount of $772.58. Item number 5, approval of payroll transfer journal for period ending August 20th, 2016 in the amount of $759,834.37. Item number 6, approval of payroll for period ending September 3rd, 2016 in the amount of $755,745.45. Item number 7, approval of payroll transfer journal for period ending September 3rd, 2016 in the amount of $747,752.68. Item number 8, approval of bills for period ending September 12th, 2016 in the amount of $1,036,316.05.
Move to approve.
Motion by trustee Ross. Second, I think Karen beat you. Second by trustee Thorntonson. Roll call, please, Andy.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
5 aye.
Motion carries. Move on to petitions and communications. First is approval of a proclamation designating September 18th through 24th, 2016 as Child Passenger Safety Week in the Village of Gurnee. Our society has a responsibility to protect our children, and car seats are required by law for children traveling in motor vehicles. And traffic crashes are the leading cause of death for children ages 1 to 13. And research shows that car seats reduce the risk of fatal injuries for infants by 71%, by 54% for toddlers in cars, and by 58% and 59% for infants and toddlers in SUVs, pickups, and vans. The Village of Gurnee is committed to working closely with our partners and safety advocates to help make the kind of choices that will keep children alive and safe. The Gurnee Police and Fire Departments are hosting 2 free child safety seat events to inspect and correctly install child safety seats at the following sites. Gurnee Park District, Touch a Truck at Hunt Club Park on Friday, September 16th from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., and at Target in Gurnee on Saturday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And all parents and caregivers are encouraged to take advantage of this service and ensure their children are getting the very best protection and are in the right seat for their ages and size. Now therefore I, Christina Kavarik, Mayor of Gurnee, do hereby proclaim the week of September 18th through 24th as Child Passenger Safety Week, and I encourage all citizens to help reduce injuries and the tragic loss of life by buckling up themselves and their children every trip, every time. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Ballmer, second by Trustee Garner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, proclamation carries. Our next proclamation is for designating September 15th through October 15th, 2016 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the Village of Gurnee. Hispanic Heritage Month in Gurnee is celebrated from September 15th through October 15th, 2016. And during Hispanic Heritage Month, the Village of Gurnee recognizes the many contributions the Hispanic American community has made to our country and celebrates the rich history and cultural traditions of our nation's Hispanic American people. September 15th was chosen as the starting point for the celebration because it is the anniversary of independence of 5 Latin American countries, including Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their Independence Days on September 16th and September 18th, respectively. More than 53 million people in the United States are of Hispanic origin, which include people with roots in Central and South America, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Spain. And Hispanic Heritage Month demonstrates the unity and diversity of Hispanics around the world who will celebrate their colorful and distinct culture. And the Village of Gurnee joins other communities across our nation in celebrating and recognizing the many contributions and legacies that are attributed to these Americans. Now therefore I, Christina Kavarik, Mayor of the Village of Gurnee, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2016 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the Village of Gurnee, and urge our citizens to honor and celebrate the achievements of a people that have contributed so much to our American culture. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Ballmer, second by Trustee Garner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
And is it okay to mention that District
District
56 will
56?
have October 13th?
Is that the date, October 13th?
Yes, from
Okay.
6 to 7:30.
So District 56 is celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, so many of us will be there
Up at Wadsworth,
Prairie Trail.
at
which
the
I can't
Prairie
remember.
Trails. Good.
River Trail.
We will be looking forward to that. Okay, so moving on. Next item is pulling together and asking for your recommendation to create a pedestrian mobility blue ribbon committee made up of people who actually volunteered. Richard McFarland, I'm asking him to be the chair. He currently serves on our Planning and Zoning Commission. Susie Caravella, our Park District Executive Director. Bob Schubert, he's a member and president of a local biking club. Nancy Parker Hill, she's a resident in Gurnee, is very active in outdoor activities and environmental concerns. And Joyce Mason, another longtime Gurnee resident who's very active in outdoor activities. They all expressed an interest in serving on this committee. If you remember, during our focus groups with our residents back in November, there was a consistent theme about wanting to be able to walk and bike more, but that looks very different depending on who you ask. So at the time, we thought a committee would be a good idea. Then we did a survey, got over 300 responses, and got over 300 ideas of what walkability means. So everybody's all over the place. So this group, I'll sit down with them at their first meeting, but I'm going to ask them to really kind of, what's a vision for Gurnee, and then create some actionable items that will get us there over the next 5 to 10 years, basically. Prioritize low-hanging fruit, short-term, long-term, because staff will be very soon working on our capital improvement plan for next year. So, each year we'll schedule some in to be completed. So we'll see what they come back with. I don't think they'll meet for too long, maybe a few months. I mean, there's a lot of good material out there on what other communities have done to become more walkable. Have them come back, make some recommendations, let us get started, and then maybe they can meet again next summer and, just kind of keep it going. So that's the background, and hopefully I can have a motion to approve these individuals to serve on the committee.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Ross, second by Trustee Thorntonson. Do I need a roll call?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, roll call vote, please. Andy?
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Thomas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
5 aye.
All right, it carries, and we have a new committee to get underway and help us with that very important objective from the strategic plan. I think that's it for petitions and communications, and we'll move on to reports. The first is Dirk is here tonight to kind of give us an update and a review of the 2016 season on the Bittersweet Golf Course. So welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I trust everybody got the bullet point review, so we know.
No, they didn't. I kept it to myself. I didn't want to ruin the surprise for him, Dirk.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, then
What I'll do is give a brief snapshot of all those topics, and then at the end, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I want to start out with the golf course conditions and impacts. The agronomic season this year was very stressful to our maintenance crew. I know most people think that it was a beautiful summer, but with the heat and the stress of the grass and the disease pressure, there was a lot of work on our crew and Brad to keep that golf course alive. They did a great job. According to weather trends, which is our prime season from June 1st through August 31st, we had 41 days of heat indexes of 90 or above. We also had 34 days of some significant rainfall, which also adds to the disease pressure. With that being said, there was a lot of added labor to syringe greens, basically some added chemicals to keep the disease pressure down, and kudos to Brad and the crew for keeping the golf course in great shape pretty much all year. As far as golf operations and impact, we did add an additional league this year. It was a 1 o'clock league, which is, in my 20 years in the business, I don't think I've ever seen that before. That's just like found money. Nobody plays at 1 o'clock, but we had a group of 36 that came out, and it's been just wonderful. They're a good group. The junior program grew from 45 to 52, so that's encouraging as well. Our outings remained on track to surpass 40 outings again this year, functions. Memberships were up 14% over 2015. The driving range was down about 8% so far. I think it's mostly due to the heat. Nobody wants to hit balls when it's 90 plus. The financial review, we're right on budget. We're moving pretty much dead on as far as revenues. Payroll expenses are up about 2%, mainly due to the maintenance issue we alluded to before with the added labor to syringe greens and keep everything alive. There you'll see a bump in the August financials because the pay periods got switched on the budget for some reason. I'm not quite sure. I think we were told September, and that's where we plugged them in. They actually hit in August. EBITDA should fall right in place, we're hoping, by the end of the year, so everything should balance back. Course improvements, basically most of the improvements we did were basically keeping the golf course alive. We really did not add any sand yet or anything. We just didn't have time. We did open up the area right behind the clubhouse, Scott's machine. It kind of ground about 4 acres? Probably 4 acres to open up the view. There's some talk about what we're going to do with that area. It's still undecided. We're looking at maybe a practice area, could be a pavilion. It's all up in the air right now, but as we kind of analyze everything, we'll get a better idea what's best for the village and the golf course and hopefully add some revenue source somewhere. We are addressing, in fact, I went around with Pat and addressed some of the dead pine trees. I think we're working on that for this fall because we have a significant amount of pine trees that really need to come down. As far as replanting, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do as far as replanting some of these areas. I would say we wouldn't, but again, it'll be this is going to be more of a 3 or 4 year plan. We did install a new clay valve on the pressure system and the irrigation. We were having some issues with it bouncing from 145 down to 110, and that seems to have really helped. We also installed a new pressure tank to help regulate. In fact, Midwest was out again today because Brad's having some issues with the bounce, and so they're trying to figure out why it's doing that. I don't know the answer because they were still there when I left. We did at least purchase a tractor, a turbine leaf blower, and an intermediate mower, which has really helped around the secondary cuts. The clubhouse improvements, I don't know if any of them out there, but we did complete the 400 square foot deck. We took the old one down, put the new one up, and it is nice. We also had to add a take out one of the sliders and add in a handicap accessible, kind of a split door. And let's see, right now, they've been very pleased with the outside. We've added about 28 people that we can sit out the deck. Before they're about 8. So we added about 20, which will help on fish fries. Food and beverage, again, we're going to hit right on our number again. We're making about a 25% margin, and the fish fries are again steady. They'll start to dwindle down as the season goes down. Special events, Families in the Fairways was great. Frosty Fest again was great. And all our club events went well. We have 3 left, the Bitterbrook Cup, the Members Dinner, and the 3rd Annual Fall Fling. Future capital, right now we see no need to purchase any future equipment. As of right now, we're in good shape. We are looking at possibly expanding our outside venue, whether it in addition to the deck or a pavilion. We're kind of bouncing some ideas around. And lastly, I believe we talked about the cart lease. Golf Visions was able to work with Club Car along with Nadler from Batavia on our portfolio as a whole portfolio package of Illinois only, and they came to the plate. So I think the lease proposal that they have is a very good deal. All new cars, they're going to provide utility cars and a cafe.
Yeah, that's new business item number 4, so we'll get to that in a little bit, and Dirk will hang out in case there's any specific questions.
Okay.
All right. Well, I hear lots of positives about your fish fry.
Yes.
It's a lot of buzz, and
Yeah.
people are happy.
We're running into a couple issues with larger outings, like we've had 2 Friday outings, and they're kind of like, it gets to be a little bit much, but it'll work its way out.
All right. Okay. Well, good. The course is looking good, too. I was out there
Yes.
Friday night, so
Yes.
it looks pretty. I don't know about the golfing part, but it looks nice. Questions from the trustees about our Bittersweet Golf Course? Anything you want to
No,
add?
things seem to be going good. I mean, any of the capital items that Dirk talked about, I mean, obviously anything that we're going to do out there will come before the village board for discussion and approval before we do it. Like Dirk said, he's got some ideas on the horizon, but we'll see how the rest of this year shakes out and what he's got in the bank and what he needs to get through the winter. And like I always say, I mean, my goal with the course is that it's self-sustaining and they don't have to come back to us and ask for money to operate in the off season, and Dirk's been able to do that and make improvements, across the course in general. So they're doing a good job.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Any other reports, Patrick?
No, not this time.
All right. Old business?
No.
All right. We're going to move on to new business. The first item is approval of the police department's recommendation to set trick-or-treat hours for Halloween 2016. I do believe Chief Woodside's going to address us.
The sacrificial lamb. Wisdom.
Thank you very much, Mayor, Village Board. I appreciate the opportunity every year to be offered the opportunity to make a recommendation on Halloween hours, and the tradition in the village has always been to celebrate Halloween and recognize that with trick-or-treating on a Sunday afternoon rather than on the evening which the holiday occurs. And that is important from a public safety standpoint because trick-or-treating during daylight hours is preferable to trick-or-treating in the evening hours, and that can only be accomplished on a weekend day. Now, the tradition has been to do that on Sunday afternoon, but in listening to Skylar and Clara this evening, I am persuaded that there is no public safety or safety consideration in having that occur on Saturday rather than on Sunday. So I am prepared to make the recommendation for this year that trick-or-treating occur from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. on the Saturday before Halloween. And unless we receive any public feedback that suggests that that decision should not be a permanent one, that would be my recommendation in years going forward.
That's pretty momentous, girls. This has got to be, my oldest is 31, so this has got to be a 30-year tradition in the village to do it on Sunday. Do the board members want to say anything?
Of course, Jeannie does. Yes.
Well, I appreciate it, as always, and I certainly am impressed by the arguments, and I have to still say it's Halloween, and it should be on Halloween, and I think it should have some evening hours. So, not that I don't appreciate the safety factors in that, but Halloween is supposed to be on Halloween, trick-or-treating. So
All right,
I
so-
still take my stand.
We know Trustee Balmas would prefer to have it on Monday night, but we know that that's not going to happen, but we respect her opinion.
Well, we haven't
we
taken
haven't
a vote
voted yet,
yet. I
have
might
we?
have swayed.
You are not nearly as persuasive as those young ladies were.
No, I'll give them that. They were very
Those were
persuasive.
excellent
They were
persuasive
excellent points, and
that I
I
would-
certainly think the Bears one was probably the most monumental. However,
Other trustees? Does anybody object to
I was trying to
Saturday?
see what the sunset time the sun sets, but I think it's a fantastic idea.
20
All right.
hours, so.
So do I have a motion to make
So
trick-or-treat
moved.
hours on Saturday? Motion by trustee Garner, second by trustee Ross. We better do a roll call vote on this one. Roll call, please.
Thorstenson,
Yes.
Balmas,
nay.
Hood,
Yes.
Ross,
Aye.
Garner.
Yay.
That's 4 yes, 1 no.
So motion carries this year.
I needed
Trick-or-treat
Steve
will be
Clark.
on Saturday.
He would have been with you, wouldn't he? He would have been with you.
They'll probably name a street after you or something, or maybe a playground. Very good job. Excellent, girls. Excellent. All right, that's big news, and we have a lot of publicity to do.
Yeah, we've had people call and ask already.
Yeah, and people plan around this, so
We'll get the word out.
yeah, we need to definitely get the word out. All right, go do some homework and get a good night's rest, and be prepared to be celebrated as heroes at school tomorrow.
Pinkish with the purse hanging down.
Oh, the one that way, yeah. That makes sense.
All right, item number 2, approval of request from Engineering Division to waive the competitive bidding process and award pavement evaluation services to Infrastructure Management Services at a cost not to exceed $30,853.
Sure.
That's your-
So you'll remember before we got going with 0.5% sales tax and the CIP program that we had Infrastructure Management Services come in and do an evaluation of all the roadways. In the past, it was actual employee going out there and counting the number of cracks per square foot. Infrastructure Management Services is a little more technologically advanced, uses trucks with sensors, comes in, goes through all the streets, and then links that up to our GIS program, gives us a pavement condition index for all of our streets. It's a number between 1 and 100 that gives us a condition of the street. So 2013 is the last time we've done it. Scott feels it's time again to do it in anticipation of next year's CIP program. Also allows us to compare how our streets have fared over the last 3 or 4 years to that baseline information that infrastructure management provided us back in 2003. So very happy with the results the first time around, and we're looking for that consistency as far as the comparative data. So we're asking to waive the competitive bidding process and award it again to Infrastructure Management Services, Scott did note in his memo that this price here, this $30,853, is actually cheaper than when they were here the first time around. So that's usually when time goes by, you don't see services get cheaper, but in this case, save a little bit on it compared to round one. So,
All right, questions from the trustees?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by trustee Balmas.
Second.
Second by trustee Ross. Roll call, please, Andy.
Thorstenson,
Yes.
Balmas,
Aye.
Hood,
Yes.
Ross,
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
5 aye.
All right, motion carries. Thank you, Scott. This is valuable. Data is always a good thing. Item number 3, approval of ordinance 2016-63,
63.
approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the Village of Gurnee and Warren-Waukegan Fire Protection District of Lake County, Illinois. Patrick?
Sure. So as you know, we have a agreement, a contract with the Warren-Waukegan Fire Protection District whereby we provide fire protection and ambulance services to the district. This relationship goes back to the 1930s with the first contract around 1977. The current contract that we have is set to expire in April of next year. So we got together with the fire district, Chief Friedel, fire district president, Phil Durantz, to talk about renegotiating the contract. The fire district took the first stab at it, had very minor changes. Really the only change was the annual escalator. We had a flat fee in the previous contract. They want to tie it to CPI going forward, which we've done with a lot of our contracts for our employee groups and such, so that makes sense. There's no floor or ceiling in the CPI adjustment. We feel it's a very fair contract. It's about a $3 million contract. And also important to keep in mind, the fire department or the fire district's been very generous as far as helping us out with capital equipment. Over the last 5 years, they've donated up near $1.5 million worth of equipment or donations to the village to purchase equipment, with the most recent one being covering 50% of the ladder truck. So, and that's above and beyond the contractual rate for that contract. So, before you tonight, if it's approved, the Fire Protection District is going to have on their September 21st agenda for consideration, and then we will be wrapped up for another 3 years with the district. So,
Questions? It's been a good relationship.
very good.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by trustee Balmas, second by trustee Garner. Roll call, please, Andy.
Thorstenson,
Yes.
Balmas,
Aye.
Hood,
Yes.
Ross,
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
5 aye.
Item number 4, approval of ordinance 2016-64, authorizing contracts for the lease of golf course equipment between the Village of Gurnee and Nadler Golf Car Sales, Inc.
Sure. So this was the lease that Dirk referenced. Bittersweet has 72 golf carts out there. That lease agreement was inherited by Golf Visions when they took over management of the course. It was negotiated by the previous management company. The carts are 9 years old. The current lease payment is about $45,000 annually. As Dirk said, Golf Vision's been working with Nadler for their entire portfolio to negotiate some new leases to get new carts in there. So what Dirk has been able to come up with for Bittersweet is the replacement of all 72 golf carts and then the addition of a new beverage cart, driving range cart, and then some utility carts. Right now, between the beverage cart and the utility carts, they've got 6. Under this new lease, they take that down to 4 to right size the fleet. The lease payment for all that equipment would be about $50,540. So that's about a $5,900 increase compared to what we're paying now. But these new carts, the manufacturer claims a 45% fuel savings for those carts. So based on the fuel consumption across those 72 carts, it'll just about even it out. Might be about $1,500 more than what we're currently paying. So all new carts, and then some additional equipment, new equipment for just a $1,500 increase in the lease payment. It's also set up as 6 months on, 6 months off, so it gives them some cash flow relief in the off season. 5-year term with the option to renew for an additional 3 years. Pretty straightforward lease. Basically, if they don't make the lease payment, Nadler shows up and takes their golf carts away. So Brian took a look at it. I took a look at it. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. And like I said, it gets all new carts in there and some new equipment, right sizes the fleet, and doesn't cost us that much more on an annual basis. So being that it's our course, the lease is technically with the Village of Gurnee, but it'll be paid by Bittersweet Golf Course through their operating revenue that they make out there. So you won't see this $45,000 anywhere in our budget. That's handled through the golf course's budget.
Questions for Pat?
Or Dirk.
Move to approve.
Motion by trustee Ross, second by trustee Garner. Roll call, please, Andy.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
5
Motion carries. Item number 5, approval of ordinance 2016-65, amending the annual budget of the Village of Gurnee, County of Lake, State of Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2016, and ending April 30th, 2017. Pat?
Sure. So basically what this is Scott's major construction programs. The street reconstruction and street rehabilitation program are wrapping up, and those are both looking to come in under budget, so there's some funding available there. In the past, we've just rolled that funding over to the next year, but we're proposing to do this year, because getting this work done isn't getting any cheaper, and we've got some projects hanging out there that we'd like to get finished, is have this budget amendment. It doesn't increase the size of the overall budget. This is just moving money around. So we'd move money out of a couple of Scott's street reconstruction and rehabilitation line items and get a couple more projects done. One of those projects would be the Route 21 sidewalk along Six Flags. You'll remember we had money in the budget for that. Bids came in over. We awarded half of the project. This would allow us to complete that entire project and get that done. The issue with doing half of the project is by the time they get going in the second half next year, it'll be the end of the season before that second leg is done. And concrete prices are just continue to rise. That's one of the projects. Another project is a couple water main replacement projects that we had. One is on Greenleaf, south of Washington, where they've had a slew of breaks, seems like every year. We're down there working on that, and that affects that whole medical office area down in there. And then also, I think up on Fuller Road at Grand was another one that we're going to try to get knocked off this year. Another project we had in there was the Route 132 water main under the Des Plaines River, but we've run into some issues with the Army Corps of Engineers, so that it's just slowing the process down, so it will get done. It's just getting through all that red tape, so it probably won't be this year. So we're proposing to get those other two knocked out while there's some additional funding left in the utility fund side, utility capital. And then the last project is the Welton Plaza parking lot. For those that have been in there, that parking lot is basically just beat to gravel at this point. So the MFT contractor, Scott talked to him. He's agreed to redo that parking lot at the rates they bid for the MFT street maintenance program. So those are the three projects that we would move money around to get those done. Like I said, it gets the Route 21 sidewalk done. It gets these two water main replacement projects done. And then the next big one will be under the Des Plaines River that we'll have in next year's budget. And then with Welton Plaza, about all you have left after that is the brick pavers and the sign, and then some smaller stuff like the benches and some additional flower gardens and littler things like that. So, like I said, the price of these projects continues to go up. We've already seen some fluctuation with the Route 21 sidewalk, with the storm sewer numbers have fluctuated a little bit and increased a little, and that's just been in the 2 months since we've bid that project. So while we've got the funding available, the staff is proposing to get these projects knocked out.
And these are all projects that are either engineered or ready to go. So to take advantage of this season's pricing saves us in the long run. Questions for Pat or
Make a
Scott?
motion to approve.
Second.
All right. I have a motion from trustee Balmas and a second from trustee Hood. Roll call, please. Andy?
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
5
Motion carries. Good work. All right. Item number 6, approval of ordinance 2016-66, amending certain sections of Chapter 30 of the Gurnee Municipal Code entitled Emergency Services.
Yeah, this is really just a cleanup item. So the 911 center monitors burglar and fire alarms. The municipal code language that governs this is outdated. Police department went through to take a look at this, compare that language to how they operate today. We used to require licenses for all of these alarms simply so we could collect that information from the residents. Now the alarm companies do that, so there's no reason for us to require these licenses. So that was one of the changes. We will continue to require licenses for direct connect alarms, which we only have 4 in town. And then the other significant change was just pushing these through the administrative adjudication process versus, I think it referenced the going to the village administrator previously, but now that we have the administrative adjudication process, we run everything through that. Everything else is just a little cleanup here and there. It looks like a lot of changes, but it's mainly removing outdated language that's no longer applicable.
Questions from the trustees? Do I have a motion to approve? Motion by trustee Thornton, second by trustee Balmas. Roll call, please, Andy.
Torstenson.
Yes.
Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
5 aye.
All right, motion carries. Reopen the floor to public comment.
Can I just
Absolutely,
make
trustee
an
Balmas.
acknowledgement to the Exchange Club and specifically both Chief Friedel and Chief Woodside for a wonderful 9/11 program. It was beautiful and very touching, and I appreciate the efforts.
Yes, excellent
You
job.
did an excellent job, too.
Excellent job, Chief. I know you put a lot of effort starting early in the summer to schedule everything and pull it together and do a good program. It was very moving, very meaningful. I had a lot of good positive feedback, so.
As chief to, kind of coordinate it. But again, Mayor, thank you to you and the village board and our administrator for allowing it, number one. And the other thing is too, is that there's many other, again, the Park District, District 56, Scouts, a lot of people that do help, so.
Somebody
Thank
has
you.
to pull it together, so thank you.
And that Navy flag thing.
The state flag, that is one of the best parts. And the little ones singing. So, a lot of emotion, but. All right, anybody else? All right, do I have a motion to
So
adjourn?
moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Balmas, second by trustee Garner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.